It's nice to see everyone this morning, and welcome to our Mind the Moments Tuesday morning gathering, brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. Those of you that have joined us in the past know that this is a place that we invite experienced mindfulness instructors to speak with us about what mindfulness means to them and to discuss as a community how we can incorporate these important practices into our daily lives. I'm Suzanne Rowe Palacino, and I am so happy to be back here with Jackie Johnson, leadership coach and mindfulness instructor. Good morning, Jackie.
Good morning, Suzanne and everyone. It is great to be with you this morning.
Yeah, so nice to have you here this morning with us. And for anyone that's new, welcome. So happy to have you join this morning. And hopefully you'll be with us for the long haul, because we have all kinds of new programs and opportunities for you to learn more about this practice. So today we'll start off with a question for the group. That usually gets everyone engaged and chatting. And then Jackie will have a few words for us and lead us in a guided practice. And after that, we'll have a time for questions. So if you can go to the bottom of the screen, open up your chat. And if you'll notice when you open up that chat, there's a drop-down menu in the bottom that you can click on that says hosts and panelists. You can go ahead and click on that. If you're interested in having your comments seen by everyone, you just click on everyone on the chat. And yeah, so as some of you know, I've made the announcement in previous sessions that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And Harvard Pilgrim and Tufts Health Plan are doing all kinds of different things to support folks during this time. So there are two opportunities as we are kicking off a 4-week program in May, but there are also two opportunities for practice. And I'm going to share my screen here just so you have an opportunity to take a look at what I shared in the beginning. But if you notice that beginning slide here, there's a Peak Mind Challenge, which I've mentioned a couple of times over the last number of weeks. And this challenge is based on Dr. Amishi Jha's book, called Peak Mind. And her research has focused on the fact that 12 minutes a day, 5 days a week for 4 weeks of meditation has shown some significant changes in the brain. So this challenge will take place from the 16th of May until June 10th. But we also have another opportunity for practice. And I wanted to, before I get into that, just show you this QR code. If you put your phone right up to that, magically, that's going to open up the website that will show you, I don't know if you can probably see this. It'll open up the website that will give you all of the information about what's our programs in May. So 2 things to mention to you. When you go to point32health.org, the 2 opportunities to support your practice. As I mentioned, the challenge. What the challenge is, starting actually, we'll be kicking it off on Thursday, the 12th of May, Tara Healy and I. But every day, starting on the 16th, at noontime, a new video will be released. And that video will be a 30-minute video that will support your practice during each of those days in May. So that's an opportunity for engaging. And then the second thing, which starts this Wednesday, is a Peak Mind series. And that series will be every Wednesday. It's a live webinar from 1 to 1:30. And this you can go to every Wednesday at that time for a practice that will support this program as well. So just to share those 2 opportunities. And so any questions about that, all the information will be when you go to that website. And I'll share the website here for you just so you have it, but I can share it at the end of the program as well. So if you go ahead and click on that link, you'll be able to see all the information. So that is that. So Jackie, back to you.
you, Suzanne. Well, what an opportunity. That's great.
Yeah, so May is a great month to kick in a meditation practice or just to restart a existing one. So on that point, what kind of question do you have for us this morning, Jackie?
Well, I'd like to maybe set up my question with a little bit of context first of where this came from. Sunday morning, you'll remember it was a gorgeous day for those of us who are in the Northeast. And I sat down to do my meditation practice with the windows open and the air coming in. And just as I sat down, I heard next door, my neighbor's French doors, the doors to their deck open. And I suddenly heard the little boy next door practicing his violin. I heard them cleaning their deck and banging around things on their deck, and my neighbors were talking. And in that moment, it was striking to me that I just noticed the range of emotions, reactions, responses that arose, and how that happens in practice and in life. And so practice provides us this wonderful opportunity to be aware of, to bring awareness to these natural tendencies of the mind, and to cultivate qualities that support us in our practice and in our life. So in that particular moment, what I noticed was first this sort of selfing quality about like, why does this always happen to me kind of thing, or what I was making up about them and what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. It's just so fascinating to in a moment have that clarity of where the mind goes, the embellishment of layers of story. And then when there's less pull and there's sort of a subtle pleasantness of just choosing to be in the present moment, if we can kind of drop the story. So it was just kind of one of those rich and illuminating moments. And I think also about today, and the weather may be changing, but the weather outside is determined by causes and conditions, not by anything that we do. And that's really so true of everything that arises. And we can become aware of whether we're relating to what's arising in a way that brings peace or brings stress. So in the context of the Sunday morning thing, my range of reactions went from being really angry and frustrated and all that contracting kind of stuff to actually a kind of humor almost. So it's amazing how just in that split second, the plot can kind of go from tragedy to comedy. And I know not everything in life is quite that simplistic, but when we build this muscle, we're more able to recognize that choice point. So, so that leads me to my question, which is, what quality or attitude might it be beneficial to invite into your practice and perhaps into your life this morning? So see if there's a word or just a couple of words that come to mind. And if you're inclined to share, acceptance.
Yeah, I'll jump in. And someone's already put mine in the chat, so I can definitely connect with Christy's word of acceptance. Yeah, I find that there are times, exactly what you've mentioned, Jackie, when something in the news can alter my feeling, or something in my neighborhood can make me run through a story. And gosh, those stories can take us into some really just annoying places that can change our day. I mean, we have a lot of agency in the fact that we can can impact our day in different ways. So yeah, acceptance.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. I love what I'm seeing in the chat. I saw a couple of humor and patience and um, yeah,
Joy, focus. Yeah. Yeah. Changing the story for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And even just noticing that there is a story, that there is
Mhm.
a story that's like fuel for a fire
Yeah.
can be so powerful.
Yeah. And I like what's been said too, Tara, saying that how do we feel it in our body? Like, and that can tell us, wow, this is not feeding us well. you know,
Yeah,
oh, I
yeah.
can feel it in my shoulders.
Yeah, yeah, letting go. So,
Mhm.
so on that note of letting go, maybe that's a great segue to shift into practice.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So we'll practice for about 12 minutes or so, and then leave a little time at the end. So I just want to invite everybody to find the posture first that's right for you this morning. So it could be seated if you've already been sitting for a long time and prefer to stand, that's fine. And it's not about perfection as we choose a posture either. It's really about choosing what's good enough for this next 12 minutes or so to just feel some sense of settledness and collectedness. And if it feels right to you, allowing the eyes to close, um, perhaps casting the gaze downward if you prefer to keep the eyes open, just so that you're not intent on the screen, but really bringing the attention more inward and inviting a couple of deeper than normal breaths, if that's helpful. And if you're feeling sleepy this morning, you can focus more of the attention on the inhalation to bring in some energy. If you're feeling stressed or agitated, lengthening the exhalation, bringing the attention to the exhalation as a way of settling. And really allowing the awareness to drop into the body, sitting and breathing, and noticing what's here in the totality of this experience. What's here in the body, aware of any areas of tension or tightness, and without too much effort, just allowing softening where that's possible, really feeling the weight of the body being supported by the chair, by the earth, inviting the body to rest and be supported and to be breathed. Noticing awareness of sound, of hearing that's happening without any particular effort. No need to go looking for sound. It's simply aware of sounds outside, in the room, sound of my voice. And you can keep the attention on sound, on the experience of hearing, if that's best for you, or if you like, you can allow sounds to just drop into the background and bring the attention back to the body sitting and breathing, and finding whatever anchor best supports a collectedness of attention this morning. So, not trying to in any way focus tightly, but just to have an anchor like the anchor of a boat that brings the attention back in a helpful way when it drifts. So that might be awareness of the body as a whole, sitting and breathing. It might be on the breath, coming in and going out in a more focused way at the nostrils, in the area around the chest and the heart, or the rising and falling of the belly. And if the breath in any way feels difficult for you, knowing that you can choose an alternate anchor, which might be sound, might simply be the feel of the feet on the floor, the hands where they make contact with the thighs, with each other. Could be the feeling of the body seated and supported. Whatever works for you. And each time the mind gets pulled off in some direction into a story, simply noticing it's not a problem. That moment is the moment of mindfulness. And just seeing how you might most kindly and compassionately bring the attention back. Noticing where the attention is and knowing that as many times as necessary, you can invite in that helpful quality. Noticing what's the impact? What's the impact when you bring that quality to mind and just kind of drop it into your practice like a pebble in a lake or a pond. And in just the last moment of practice, maybe again bringing that quality to mind and seeing if there's some intention of how you might bring that into the day. And as we bring the practice to a close, may we all be safe and well. May we all be peaceful. May we live with ease, with joy, and with kindness. And may the benefit of our practice benefit all. As you're ready, just taking your time to bring some movement back into the body, allowing the eyes to open and really slowly taking your time to bring the attention back to the screen, back to the group. Thank you for your practice.
Thank you, Jackie. I found I was able to bring that attitude into my practice. Just that prompt in the beginning was really nice to remind myself to bring that acceptance into my practice. So
That's great. That's
yeah.
great. If anybody else has wants to share anything about what you noticed, or any questions, certainly too.
Yeah. You know, when we invite something into our practice, just a quick, I know sometimes we don't want to have a goal of our sitting. So how do we balance that striving to have a goal versus bringing an intention or a quality of mind?
Yeah. Or the other term I like to use sometimes is an aspiration, and how that's different from a goal.
Yeah. And how can we keep away from that, having that, like, oh, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to be in acceptance mode versus when, how do we balance that out, I guess, is more my question.
Yeah. And it's interesting, and would love to hear from other folks on this. But when I think about goal, there's a way in which that can have us attached, I think, differently. And we don't know what's going to arise. We don't know when we sit down, whether suddenly we're going to be hearing violin music and a leaf blower outside or a lawnmower, or what's going to happen. And so, so choosing an aspiration, a quality, and really supports, I think, meeting whatever arises.
Yeah.
The part that we can't control.
Right. It seems softer to have that aspiration versus that, okay, this is what I'm going to feel like when I'm done with this meditation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like you invite it in when you feel that agitation, or you feel your mind constantly going away, you invite it in.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tara's mentioned, what's always been helpful is the idea that the practice is about knowing what's happening, being present for it, and not trying to bring in a different experience, maybe one that's more pleasant, despite wanting that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So such power in the knowing, the noticing that we want something different, and being able to really skillfully respond to what's here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. Very helpful. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for guiding us in this practice. I think it's very timely during these times where we can feel like we need a little refuge. So wonderful to have you here. So thanks again for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Suzanne, and for all of you being here and practicing together.
Yeah. Yeah. And just another reminder, I'm going to share a link for the next program that we have. So just to clarify on what's happening in May, the first two things that you can put on your calendar are the next 2 Wednesdays, the 3rd and the 10th at 1 o'clock. And that Zoom link that I just shared is for those live webinars. And the first one is taming the wandering mind. That will be tomorrow at 1. So those first 2 Wednesdays, and then we'll kick off the challenge on the 12th, which is a Thursday. And then after the 12th, every single weekday we'll be posting a video that you can watch anytime during that day. So every Wednesday at 1, starting tomorrow, and then starting on the 12th, every day from that point on, there'll be a video posted at YouTube, on YouTube. And Teresa's mentioned she did a standing practice for the first time. Yeah, comparing it to sitting when I was practicing. Yeah, not letting it go.
Yeah.
Wonderful. That's all you can ask, right, Teresa?
Yeah.
All right. Well, great to be with everyone. Great to be with you as always, Jackie. And we'll see you all soon. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.